Yeah, we're out here in beautiful Washington Square Park, the best park in New York City. And I'm sitting in the Fountain Circle showing my artwork where I've been showing it since 2016 here in the very same spot, with the exception of the last about 70 days since September 27th, when all free expression was kicked out of Washington Square Park and has been suppressed daily ever since.
I want you to watch Coastal Propaganda Machine.
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 This is Max, and this is Coastal Propaganda Machine.
My name is Eva, and this is Coastal Propaganda Machine.
Hey, look. Look.
New York is a cultural capital. Like, things happen in New York that people come to see and experience. You come into town to see, Taylor Swift play at the Meadowlands or at Madison Square Garden, and then you're in town for a few days. What are you going to do? You're going to go downtown. You're going to hear about Greenwich Village. You're going to walk through the places that you've only heard about and now you want to experience. If you like, I got some catalogs here. You are welcome to go through if you like, and let me know if I can answer any questions.
Thank you.
Happy Tuesday to you.
Happy Tuesday to you.
Thank you. I mean, we got you got the carvings, everything, but you got this crazy little painting on the back with the skateboarder on the ancient music sheet.
What about the all the postal service stickers?
Well, that's ubiquitous with street art. Mostly in the city here, but like across the country because they're free. So you used to be able to go to the post office, especially before the pandemic, and just grab stacks of those. Hold on just a second.
Hey, how much is this guy?
That one is $60.
Okay. Cool.
And that's actually, I'll tell you, this is the test print I did for this run, and it's maybe the best one of the run. I did a bunch of little sort of gravelly dots in here that come up really finely, as well as all the nice touches on this one. So I'm really proud of the run, but I have to say you have a good eye. This is a very nice, that's the piece.
Ah, good.
It's a little colder, so I haven't had any trouble today, but I was also just pointing out that you do not see anybody besides myself out showing their work.
I was surprised, and I didn't know it was like it was. Because I'm not always out in the middle of the weekday.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be fun to go Christmas shopping, and I was going to walk through the park, and yeah.
And you were surprised.
I was like, where is everybody?
They've been intimidated and harassed out of the park.
Well, not you, man, right?
That's right, man.
All right.
Cheers, brother.
Stay strong.
Thank you very much. Well, that was nice.
Yeah.
And I find that if you talk to not just me or the artist, but you talk to people who come to Washington Square Park, they come to experience art. They come to see something weird, some painting they haven't seen before, hear a musician play they've never heard before, a dancer. They want to see something different. And this is the place where they come to see all the different they can get. And there's just no different right now. Man, how you doing? Happy Tuesday. Beautiful. How about yourself? I mean, it didn't sneak in. It came in all of a sudden. There had been some glimmers of, enforcement, which I consider under the regular guise of enforcement where they would move certain folks, jewelry, fashion folks along. Somebody who has a blanket on the ground with their home goods for sale, they'd move that. But then on September 27th, it took a very definite turn when they brought in a half a dozen NYPD officers to stand in support of about 8 park rangers, including 2 sergeants from the Parks Department. And they just swept through the park and systematically kicked out every artist, busker, musician, and fortune teller and advice giver out of the park. And it has been very steadily and heavily enforced ever since that day, Black Friday, September 27th.
Right now, they are threatening a dancer with arrest. This is day 53 of ongoing harassment of artists in Washington Square Park. This has happened every day since September 27. Every day here. Do you feel safer with this action, everybody? I do not.
Do you have a sense of why that is?
No, I have no idea. And to be honest, it's the least interesting question in the whole thing. Like, you go, why are they treating me like this? Like, doesn't move any of this forward because it's because the city bureaucracy is built to obfuscate that answer. Who knows why any of this is happening for real? Like, somebody got a bug up their butt and said, do it. And so for like, I find the much more interesting question is what actions do we need to resolve this?
Chris is late.
Are we ready, Mark?
Yes. You're on.
Okay, so good evening and welcome to the Community Board 2 Manhattan, actually, joint committee meeting.
That's
for
right.
Traffic and Transportation and Parks and Waterfront.
I do not believe that anything with a motor on it should be in any of our parks.
These motorized vehicles are attacking them, per se, just like they attack one when one is trying to park.
That's it, I'm sorry, Janet.
This is out of control.
Yeah, it's 8:12. We've been here for an hour and 45 minutes, but I want to give you the time, Will. And again, I really appreciate you dialing in.
Yes, hi. My name is Cynthia Thompson. I am the Park Enforcement Patrol Inspector. So what it is that there has been no change. So there's no change that took place. It's just that we've been enforcing these rules. These rules has been in effect since 2010. These rules can be found on the internet.
Okay, so if you're just performing for not a donation, you're not covered. You can do that anywhere.
I would have to get back to our legal team to ask that question.
Hey, you know when you laugh, let me make it clear.
No, I think they're laughing at
When you laugh, you're really pissing me off.
I'm already pissed off because they're lying about all
Yes,
this.
so I went to great lengths to try to get you a hearing. And I've got him dialing in from far, and I've got people on the line here
Much
trying to
appreciated.
answer your question. And so when you laugh, you're making me angry.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good. Now let me turn it over to you, and hopefully you can be civil in your comments. Otherwise, I will end the meeting. And if you laugh, I'm going to take that as not civil. Okay? You have your hand up over there, ma'am.
Yes.
Want me to take time?
Yes, 2 minutes.
All right. Okay, so my question is, you are saying that there's no change in the park rules, but I do personally observe the change in the park rules, specifically about the distancing rules. So my question is about that. So I am quoting the current park rules, which I'm pulling up, which is on the website of the Parks Department, and it says, it is important to reiterate that these proximity restrictions, which include a prohibition on vending within 50 feet of a monument or within 5 feet of park furniture, only apply to vendors using a display table to sell items. So me personally being a street performer, mostly in Washington Square Park, I am doing the dance performances, and you showed the map with like little like red dots, and it says including the dancing for donations, and it is a clear change to me. So how would you explain that change with saying that there's no change since September?
Well, as mentioned before, there is really no change. Those rules has been the same as they were. There's no change whatsoever.
So I still don't understand why you are saying that there's no change when I see clearly the change in the language. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It seems that the setting up the tables is
and I am not using the tables and
that
yeah.
seems, yeah.
So
Inspector.
Yes, and I heard what she said, and I'm going to look into that and I'll get a response back.
Okay, let me turn it over to anybody else who's here who'd like to make a comment.
Yeah, my name is Eric Cook. I was the gentleman who was at the original meeting last month. First, allow me to apologize to anybody who was hurt or offended by my outburst earlier. I did not mean that in that way. The reason why I had that reaction is because I'm tired of being lied to. Artists have been tolerated, if not allowed, in the Fountain Circle for as long as I've been going, which is coming on a decade. To tell me now that there has been no change of enforcement on the rules. I believe that the rules haven't been changed, but the enforcement has most definitely been changed, and I can't even get past talking about anything else but the fact that it is an ongoing lie to say that it hasn't been changed. I'm not saying that the inspector is lying to me. She may be misinformed, but somebody is sending a message that is a lie about what has happened since September 27th. I've actively asked Will Morrison, I've asked folks who work with parks, can we not have an active dialogue with a group of artists and a group of folks on staff in the city and talk about how the park is used? How do we equitably apply that to everybody who wants to use it without having to impose enforcement rules that are unfair to people who just want to express themselves in the public?
Yeah, go ahead.
Inspector, I apologize for this question. Do you feel that you're in a good position to assure us that no one in your chain of command below you has changed enforcement priorities?
Yes, but what I said before was they've been addressing other concerns, other issues.
And I certainly appreciate that, Inspector, but at some point somebody has to say, okay, and now we're done with this, and now we're going to turn to that. It does feel a little incongruous what the position of parks is or parks enforcement is, and certainly what everybody here is reporting.
No, and I hear you and I understand clearly, but I can't express anymore that there's other things that's going on with a limited staffing, so they don't always get to certain situations because there's things that's happening.
Thank you. This is exactly what I've been saying. This is not a giant issue. People shouldn't have to. If it's a rules problem, it's a rules problem. If it's an enforcement, it is. But let's start working on.
Y'all are reasonable people.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So I mean, I might be loud and obnoxious, but
me too.
I just like to be simple and
we're good.
It's like I've been telling the enforcement folks, I just want to sit in my chair and show my art. And the fact that I'm up out of my chair means something is different.
I generally assume when people show up and take time out of their night that they're telling the truth and coming for a good reason. So, I appreciate everybody doing it, really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because he's trying to maintain things and it seems like I'm being disrespectful, but I'm just incredulous.
Yeah, people left in the middle of the meeting. I understand they're from different departments. And
but they're still on the community board. They still represent the community.
Exactly. And then I was like, watching the clock and okay, it's like less than 1 hour left out of like 2 hours and a half meeting.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody who sat here for 2 hours that it'd be really great if you could give us 5 minutes to listen to what we're talking about.
I will listen on Zoom, but I have somebody at home.
I know, I'm watching 5 or 6 people put their coats and leave.
Yeah, because we're on the transparency. I will stay.
I appreciate you.
We're not for about 20 minutes.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just saying it's a little rude to walk out when everybody's trying to be a part of the thing.
They should still be interested in the agenda items, even though they're.
You know, they're gonna start to say things like, we're volunteers. We don't have to be here. Do you know what I mean? Like, we know what they're gonna say. You know what? Listen, like, I used up all of my English in my brain. Like, I cannot speak any longer. Squeeze it out from my head. Like,
Used all the good words.
I tried, but I don't know how it went, but I tried.
The New York City Parks Department considers this man annoying. Do not feed him. Art is dangerous.